They can't keep getting away with it. Well, they actually are, because the Republicans are just generally teethless as opposition anyways, but take a look at this, okay? Think about this. DOJ tries to jail key Hunter Biden witness Devon Archer. You might remember Devon Archer if you've been following closely with the Hunter Biden laptop scenario. Devon Archer was basically Hunter's number 2 when it comes to doing all the business dealings with Ukraine, with China, with everybody. He was the other guy in the room signing off, making all the deals, making all the connections, and making sure that Hunter was at least sober enough to turn up to said meetings. He was orchestrating, so he was going to come in. He was going to come in and give this big congressional testimony, but it really looks like the DOJ is going to swoop in at the last second. Oh, it's just so good that Joe just loves his son so much, but he wouldn't use anything to get in the way of justice, because remember, guys, nobody's above the law. Fucking gag me. The Justice Department is pushing for Devon Archer to report to prison, just days ahead of the former Hunter Biden business partner's hotly anticipated congressional testimony, which wasn't going to be broadcast or anything. It's just going to be behind closed doors. You might be able to see a transcript, highly redacted. Don't worry about the specifics or anything like that. We're totally on the up and up. Manhattan federal prosecutors, of course, is going to come out of the SDNY. Who could have possibly thought it would have came out of anywhere else? So fucking corrupt. On Saturday, filed a letter requesting a judge set a date for Archer, 58, to start his 1-year sentence in a fraud case unrelated to the first son's various scandals. Unrelated, guys. Like, he's just supposed to be snatched up right before, as he's heading up the steps of Congress in order to testify. Oh, excuse me, sir. You have to go begin your 1-year prison stay. Just right now. It's just totally unrelated. Don't worry about any of this. The request came after a Second Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed Archer's 2018 conviction last Tuesday on 2 felony charges for his role in a conspiracy to defraud a Native American tribe. I don't know why I'd have to do that. They're pretty good at defrauding themselves. Archer, who is set to deliver closed-door testimony to the House Oversight Committee on Monday about Biden, had been challenging the conviction. In light of the appeals court ruling, the DOJ respectfully requests that the defendant be ordered to surrender. Just so happens to become a point of contention right now. Right now, just unrelated to everything, I'm sure. At a date and time determined by the court to the facility designated by the Bureau of Prisons to commence his term of imprisonment, reads a letter to Judge Ronnie Abrams. Archer's attorney, Matthew Schwartz, said Saturday that his client would still testify on Capitol Hill as planned, despite allegations the DOJ letter was an intimidation tactic. Sure does seem like that, now doesn't it? We are aware of speculation that the Department of Justice weekend request to have Mr. Archer report to prison is an attempt by the Biden administration. No, they've got nothing to do with this. Come on now. To intimidate him in advance of his meeting with the House Oversight Committee, Schwartz said in a statement per Politico. To be clear, Mr. Archer does not agree with the speculation, Schwartz added. In any case, Mr. Archer will do what he has planned to do all along, which is to show up on Monday and to, honestly, answer the questions that were put to him by the congressional investigators. Archer's attorney is expected to file a formal response to the request from the U.S. Attorney's Office by Wednesday. It was previously argued that it would be premature to pick a jail date as Archer mulls potential appeal options, a position the government says it disagrees with, according to a court filing. Well, of course, man, because he's the equivalent of Devon Archer would be the walking anthropomorphic Epstein little black book. Like, this guy knows exactly where all the bodies are buried in regards to the Biden crime family. Archer's attorney is expected to file a formal response to the request for the U.S. Attorney's Office by Wednesday. He has previously argued it was premature to pick a jail date. Already read that part. Back in 2009, Archer, Biden, and Christopher Hines co-founded investment and advisory firm Rosemont Seneca Partners, which, Christ almighty, that name is so generic it makes Jordan Belfort blush, which the first son used as a vehicle for many of his overseas business endeavors in Ukraine, in China while he left the Middle East to Jim Biden, his very upright and law-abiding uncle. Archer is expected to testify that Hunter Biden would dial in his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, during various meetings with overseas partners, as the Post exclusively reported. And yeah, this is where the New York Post can be kind of flumpy when it comes to certain stories, but given the fact that they were directly in the crosshairs of big tech when it came to reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop story, yeah, they're pretty much the cutting edge when it comes to this stuff, and they want to see this stuff fully and completely prosecuted because, hey man, they got a personal beef with the Biden family, which I'm totally on board with. It could be a key development in the GOP-led inquiries into the Biden family, as it would potentially tie the president and to his son's business affairs. President Biden had previously said, I spoke to my son about the overseas business dealings. The White House now says the president was never in business with his son, which is total fucking cap if you've read anything that has come out of the laptop. 10% for the big guy. No, that's his other father. His crack dealer father, not his geriatric father. You just shut your mouth. This Beau Biden was his brother. Don't be mean, man. He died in Iraq. An apparent shift in the verbiage downplayed by press secretary fucking gay black lady. Yo, that bitch has been on overdrive lately when it comes to running cover for the Biden family. I would have to start up another channel to cover every single fucking press conference and all of the goddamn gibberish that she fucking spits out of her mouth. It is disgusting how much that bitch can lie without starting up in fucking flames. For months, Biden administration officials have pummeled Republicans over the probe and have sought to drive home the notion that the president hasn't been directly implicated. No, you're just going against an addict, and why do you have to attack somebody who's on the road to recovery? That's all that's on there. Don't mind all of the underage children that are being trafficked for sexual endeavors involving the first son. Don't mind any of the illicit substances that are on there. Don't mind any of the misappropriation of funds that were not reported to the government being used for prostitutes. Don't mind any of the business dealings that were going on involving the Ukrainian government or CEFC, by extrapolation, the Chinese Communist Party. No, don't mind any of that stuff. He is simply just a humble Parmesan smoker. Fucking dorks think that we're that dumb, huh? Just last week, his fellow GOP colleague on the Oversight Committee said on camera for all to see, I've heard over and over that President Biden has not been implicated or proven for any wrongdoing here, and I acknowledge that. White House spokesperson Ian Sams tweeted last Tuesday. Yeah, it's hilarious. What about those IRS and FBI whistleblowers that came forward that said, no, we definitely do have information, but no. Again, this is White House propagandists, which is, we're getting so goddamn close. We're at the little badges that you can have on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck the platform's called at this point in time. Little badges that you can have next to government officials. Might as well just have Politburos, the little P's that are on there. That'd be a little bit more appropriate. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, who has been the point man on the GOP inquiries on the First Family, has repeatedly shrugged off Biden administration's various defenses. I would say deflections, but defenses, yeah, it's fairly accurate. Just last week, his fellow GOP colleague on the Oversight Committee, had that to say. That's Ian Sam's nonsense. Comer subpoenaed Archer in June and called the timing of the jail request letter a little bit odd. I'm a little suspicious by that. Yeah, he says it's a little bit odd. It's kind of like when you have, mass violence break out in the middle of the street, and then they just report who's committing all of it, and then it's like, oh, once again, huh? That's a little odd, don't you think? I don't want to put words in Devon Archer's mouth, Comer said on Fox Sunday Morning Futures, but I'll say this. He has an opportunity to come in tomorrow to the House Oversight Committee and to tell the truth. Other Republicans also seized on the DOJ letter. Well, who else was talking about it? DOJ is now actively committing the crime of obstructing a congressional investigation. No, but it's the DOJ. They can do whatever they want. Oh, Matt the Goblin Gaetz. I like Matt Gaetz. He's a creepy looking guy. Senator Rand Paul, who I like, just full stop. Like there's nothing wrong with Rand Paul. Outside of his absolute lack of charisma, there's nothing wrong with that little mop-headed weirdo. Shared Gates' tweet adding, this is getting to be Banana Republic territory. They are moving from indicting their opponents to throwing witnesses in jail on the eve of congressional testimony. Let's not act like this hasn't been the case for a long time. Remember when there was supposed to be testimony in regards to Benghazi, and certain people couldn't make the hearings. Does the name Seth Rich ring a bell? Like, the list goes on and on when it comes from that side of the aisle, and then just all of a sudden, oopsie daisy, they just can't make it because, yeah, they were discovered. Very tragic accident that they had. Yeah, no, they were found unresponsive on their property. Yeah, they had a rope tied around their neck and 2 shots with a shotgun in the back of the head. It just happens all the time to people in the prime of their life. It's just weird. I don't know, their last text message or something that they were about to send on Twitter, that they had their phone open that said, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary, ... Didn't have the rest of it that was out there. But no, upstanding guy. He just had a couple of unannounced demons. Last week, Hunter Biden's planned plea agreement with federal prosecutors burned down in flames, which, again, looks like they're just running with headlines on this one because, yeah, you dig a little bit deeper. August 25th, they're basically just going to come back and go, no, yeah, okay, we sussed out some of the verbiage and now we're all good to go. So we'll see where this ultimately goes. Obviously, we're going to know by the end of today because this is going up on Monday. Obviously, I'm just recording this. So just with a little hope that I'll get some monetization on that. And spoilers, probably not going to end up happening, but I want to get this information out now because, well, if we get a transcript on this or if we get any tips that comes out of this testimony that are extra juicy, yeah, maybe 2023 is going to be a little bit more spectacular. It's already been quite a newsworthy year so far, but if we're going to be getting the goods on the Biden family, yeah, the second half of 2023 might actually be even more eventful than the first half of 2023. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.